Hello friends, this is Dr. Pankaj Kumar, your mentor, and in today's sessions we will be talking about menstrual cycle. So we know very well that menstrual cycle or ovarian cycle altogether roughly of 5 lakh follicles that are present in two ovaries at the beginning of the sexual maturity, only 480 manage to reach the Graafian follicular stage. Okay. So these cells are able to release the oocytes, that is the very process during the ovulation. And you know, this number is simply we got by multiplying the number of cycles per year, that is 12, because you know the menstrual cycle, the duration of the menstrual cycle is 28 days. And the number of years in which woman is fertile, roughly 40 years. So if you multiply 40 by 12, you will get on an average 480 that manage to reach the stage of Graafian follicles. Right? So we are just going to see the very sequence of events that is going to happen during those 28 days, right? But first of all, let's learn about that what are the hormones that are involved in the entire process, because we know very well these are entire hormone related event. The very first is what we call gonadotropin releasing hormone. You see, these are secreted by hypothalamus, right? And it is releasing hormone that stimulates the release of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone from the anterior pituitary. So you see, low frequency of GnRH are responsible for the FSH secretion, because at the low secretion what happens that the FSH is actually being secreted, whereas at high frequency pulses are responsible for the LH secretion. Okay. Now, the follicle stimulating hormone FSH that is coming from the pituitary. So, it is involved in the reproductive process of both male as well as the female reproductive system. FSH stimulates the growth of the follicles. Okay. So, eventually the follicle grows and in the process they gets converted into the Graafian follicles. So it is also responsible for the theca interna and regulates its secretion, which forms another hormone called estrogen. So the development of primary and secondary follicle is dependent upon the estrogen. So it is independent of the FSH. Okay. Now let's talk about the estrogen. As we have seen that it is the follicle which is responsible for the formation of estrogen. So it is a steroid hormone that is responsible for growth and regulation of the female secondary sexual characters. Estrogen is produced by granulosa cells of developing follicle and exerts negative feedback on LH production. So when the estrogen concentration is high, the concentration of LH will remain very low. So what happens once estrogen level reaches a critical level, that is at the period of ovulation, that at that time oocytes mature, okay, and they prepare itself for the very process of ovulation. Now there is another hormone called LH or luteinizing hormone that is again synthesized and secreted by anterior pituitary in response to the gonadotropic releasing hormone. So like follicle stimulating hormone, it is also involved in reproductive process in both male and female. When follicle maturation is complete, LH helps in the very process of ovulation, that is release of the secondary oocytes. At the same time, it is also responsible for the formation of corpus luteum, okay, and regulates its secretions, because corpus luteum is going to secrete the progesterone, which is largely known as pregnancy hormone. Okay. Now let's talk about the progesterone. As I told you, it is a pregnancy hormone, commonly called as a pregnancy hormone. So initially it is synthesized from the corpus luteum, steroid hormone, and the main role is the preparation of endometrium so that the fetus can be successfully implanted in that. So if a fertilizer implants, the corpus luteum secrete progesterone in early pregnancy till the placenta is developed. Okay. And if the eggs are not implanted, what will happen? That this corpus luteum will degenerate and it will get converted into corpus albicans, right? So these were the hormones that were involved in the entire process. Now let's talk about the menstrual cycle. We know very well that this is the preparation of endocrine tissues and the release of egg. It lasts 28 days and can be divided into three phases, what we call follicle phase. So that is the development of the follicle from primordial follicle, and this phase ends till ovulations, right? Normal duration for this particular period is 14, and estrogen is the hormone which actually take through the process or lead the process. Okay, then we have a ovulatory phase, that is on 14th day. Due to LH, the secondary oocyte is released, and then we have a luteal phase that is primarily known for the production of the progesterone, because if the pregnancy is going to happen, then this hormone is responsible for take care of the pregnancy and the maintenance of the endometrial wall of the uterus. So this period also lasts for 14 days. So that is how the entire menstrual cycle is actually placed. We will discuss all these stages in a bit detail, right? Now first of all, let's talk about the follicular phase. So we know very well the events leading up to ovulation is actually called as a follicular phase. So during this phase, the follicle stimulating hormones secreted from pituitary promotes the development of the follicle. Once the follicle develops, they form estrogen, and the very function of the estrogen is to promote thickening of the uterine lining and inhibits the anterior pituitary for secreting FSH. So as the follicle grows, it secretes large number of estrogen, and estrogen is also responsible for the development of secondary sexual character. Okay. Now coming to the ovulation. So the hypothalamus responds to the stimulus by releasing GnRH. So high level of gonadotropin release hormone stimulate the anterior pituitary to secrete LH or luteinizing hormone. Now LH surge increase intrafollicular proteolytic enzymes. As a result, the wall of the ovary get weakened and the mature oocytes or the secondary oocytes is actually released. Now the surge also causes the luteinization of the thecal and granulosa cells, which increase progesterone levels, and it begins the development of the corpus luteum. So the first and foremost function of the LH is the very process of ovulation, that is releasing the secondary oocytes, right? Now let's talk about the luteal phase. Now the luteal phase occurs when ovulation is associated with the maintenance of the uterus. Now the LH causes the follicle cells to become the corpus luteum, which is a source of progesterone, and it also secretes estrogen as well. The very function of progesterone is to promote the development of uterine lining, and it inhibits the anterior pituitary for secreting LH, because at that point of time LH is not required. Once the corpus luteum degenerate, because the level of LH decreases, because LH is also required for the maintenance of the corpus luteum. Okay, so once its amount decreases, then it will no longer produce estrogen as well as the progesterone. So if it is no longer is produced, then what will happen? Then the maintenance of the uterine wall is not there. Then the very process of slugging off is released, and this will eventually lead to the menstrual flow. Okay. So, and this way the luteal phase is going to end over here, right? Now let's talk about that what will happen if pregnancy is going to happen. We know very well that placenta is going to produce one hormone called HCG, or human chorionic gonadotropin. Now what is the function? The function of human chorionic gonadotropin is to maintain the corpus luteum. Why? Because corpus luteum is required for the secretion of progesterone, and progesterone is required for maintenance the uterus, maintenance the lining of the uterus, right? So estrogen and progesterone continues to shut down the anterior pituitary for the secretion of FSH and other hormones, because it is not required. Once the pregnancy is set in, then that is not required. So what exactly it is doing? SCG is maintaining the corpus luteum. Corpus luteum secreting the progesterone. Progesterone not only maintaining the endometrium lining but also inhibiting the secretion from the pituitary gland. Okay. So as the placenta develops, then later on it take on the role of corpus luteum, and that it starts secreting estrogen and progesterone because that is required throughout the period of the fetal development. And normally this happens up till 3 months. So up till 3 months of the pregnancy, what happens that the corpus luteum is maintained. Okay. Now what is menopause? We know very well that around the age of 40 to 50, the ovaries gradually stop responding to the FSH, LH. As a result, follicle production stops, right, and the menstrual cycle is going to stop. Okay. So this is how the menstrual cycle works. Now before we conclude, let's talk about the uterus and what is the role of uterus, or how the uterus undergoes change during the menstrual cycle. We know very well that uterus is made up of an external layer of a smooth muscle called myometrium and internal lining of endometrium. Now again, endometrium is a 3 layer, what we call a stratum compactum, stratum spongiosum and stratum bacillus. So stratum compactum and stratum spongilis develop into the stratum functionalis during the first half of menstrual cycle, that is proliferative phase. So the wall of uterus changes during the menstrual cycle, as you can see there. This is stratum functionalis, then pre-ovulatory phase, ovulation, these keep on changing, okay, and that change is going to occur under the influence of estrogens, right? Now finally, let's talk about the hormonal control or regulation of the menstrual cycle. Right now we have seen that entire menstrual cycle is under the influence of hormone only. And what are the hormone? Because we know very well it is the hypothalamus, that is a gonadotropic release hormone. From anterior pituitary it is the FSH and LH, and the ovaries, these are the source of estrogen and progesterone. So primarily these are the hormones that is involved in the entire process. And you see, the entire system is under the control of the positive as well as the negative feedback, right? Let's try to understand it, that how the positive. So have a look at here. The GnRH excites the anterior lobe to secrete FSH and LH. Okay. So in ovary what happens, FSH and LH promote follicle growth, oocyte maturation. So once the follicle is formed, then follicle is going to form estrogen. Okay. And once the blood level of estrogen rises, okay, then it stimulates a hypothalamus, and which in general, which again secretes the GnRH, and finally the LH is going to be secreted from the anterior pituitary. Okay. So as a LH, what will happen? Ovulation is going to happen, and this will lead to the formation of the corpus luteum. Now the corpus luteum secretes the progesterone and estrogen, right, and that will maintain the endometrium. If the pregnancy occurs, what will happen? That the rise in progesterone and estrogen in blood, and that is going to inhibit FSH and LH. Okay. And if the pregnancy is not going to happen, what will happen? That the corpus luteum will degenerate, and in the process the progesterone and estrogen amount will decrease, and again the body will prepare for the fresh cycle, fresh menstrual cycle, right? So this is how it is under positive and negative control back. So that's all as far as the entire menstrual cycle in case of female reproductive system is concerned. I hope the cycle is absolutely clear at your end, right? Thank you.